It was a bright, sunny Tuesday, September morning, and I was in my office at that time. And I remember glancing at my watch, and it must have been coffee break time because I said, coffee break time. So it was around 10:45 a.m. in the morning. Uh, I was 40 years old then, and ever since, have been working at the Principal Financial Group in 1992. So I've been at the company for the last 28 years now. And as I was looking at my watch and getting ready to go for my coffee, my colleague next door rushes into my room, grabs hold of my hand, and says, "You got to get out of here. We need for you to have an escort to go home. It's not safe. The bus route today is not going to be safe for you." And I said, "John, back up your camels, please. April Fool's is over." John used to pull pranks on me all the time. And I said, "John, please, this is not the time. It's already 6 months and he says, "Gurwinder, I'm not joking. You need to have someone to help you home today because they're coming here to kill us and they're here to harm us and they look just like you." I couldn't believe what he was saying, and it didn't make any sense because I still thought that he was joking, or his sense of humor. But right then, my manager storms into my office and she comes to me very seriously telling me that, "Gurwinder, you need to be careful today. You're not taking the DART bus home, and we're going to have someone escort you." It didn't still make any sense. I was like, "What's going on?" They said, "Do you know what's happening on the television?" I said, "No, I don't understand. What's happening?" And then, as I turned on my monitor and I began to see the news for that day, how terrible things were happening on that September 11th day, it began to dawn on me that things were not going to be very, very happy at all. Things are going to be a difficult time here today. And I quickly got off of my chair and I went for my meeting. And I realized, even in my meeting, as my colleagues met me, it was a very awkward time. And I would say, "Hi, how are you? How's the going?" And I had a negative response. It was a difficult time. That day was a very difficult time for me to figure out what was still happening, and it didn't sink in at all. 4:15 came, but it took forever, and I quickly, in spite of my colleagues telling me to have an escort, I still said, "I'm taking my bus home." My 96 EP True, right on the bus, I hop on, and I realized that even the bus driver was not that friendly that evening. The rest of the passengers of the bus looked away in the windows, and I knew it was a very awkward time. And I head all the way back to the bus, and I sit down in the chair, and I'm looking out, and I'm trying to tell myself, "Please, this is not happening. Please, this is not happening." And about 15 minutes away from my destination, my home, two ladies sitting in front of me turn around, and one of them turns around, looks at me and says, "How can your people hurt us? How can you or your kind of people hurt us?" I was in disbelief. I could not understand why she was saying this. She had sad eyes. For the first time in my life, I was speechless. I was not even able to respond to her. But the thoughts that came into my mind were that, wait, I'm a Sikh. I have a turban. I have a beard. We practice Sikhism. And one of the values of our religion is charity, to take care of the poor, to help, and service. Why are they telling me that my people are killers? That was something very, very difficult to accept. I was nervous. I was finding very awkward. And I quickly got up the bus, left the bus, and I got off the bus. And I realized the minute I got off the bus, I was 2 bus stops away from my destination. I had to rush to my car. And it was a very awkward time. I drive home, and right at about 5 p.m. as I walk into my house, my 2-year-old toddler runs up to me in his pajamas, his ritual huggy papa, comes up to me, gives me a huggy. Have you ever felt a huggy of a 2-year-old? You don't want to let go. It's the most fun, warm feeling. It's better than a warm cup of chocolate. And I felt so relaxed. He got up and I went to my sofa and sit down. And the minute I sat down, my wife looks at me and said, "Do you know what's going on?" I still was holding on to JJ, I remember. And I said, "Yes." And while the television was going on and there were scenes of September 11 happening, the buildings, and there were pictures on the screen. My son jumps out of my hand, goes towards the TV, and in joy and in happiness, he jumps up, a 2-year-old, Papa, you Papa, Papa, you on TV, Papa, Papa. And I looked at the screen, and it was not me. It was Osama bin Laden. And I remember the words of my wife when she saw that, and she said, oh God, oh please God. And then I realized at that moment that things for us were not going to be the same.